All right, back for part three. Uh, the last two, I talked about how one sick person can mess it up for everybody else in a convenience store. I talked about the low pay, but cashiers have to be, are expected to be by the company to be extremely honest. And then, sometimes management doesn't understand why they will get quite a few shortages. Well, when people don't make a whole lot of money, sometimes some of the not quite intelligent ones take a shortcut. And I've seen it a number of times in the years. Well, a third thing that happens is, like I said, in a convenience store, there's a lot of stuff that goes on that people may not realize happens, or they know that it gets done, but they don't think about it as the cashier doing it. And those are things like, as I mentioned before, cleaning bathrooms, mopping, stocking coolers, taking care of trucks when they come in. So, and what I mean by that is we get our product delivered, and then we have to price it, date it, put it on shelves, things like that. So we can go through 6, 7, 8 employees before we actually get one that will stay more than a few days or a couple weeks. And out of them, we may have to go through 3 or 4 of those before we find one who actually does a good job. Oftentimes, the person that sticks out of the initial 7 or 8 is there, runs register, knows how to do that, but they're not real motivated to do anything else. And, of course, out of those 7 or 8, we also will probably get a couple who don't want to pay for their stuff when they get it. Are their drawers constantly coming up $5, $10, $15 short, like every time they work, and which shouldn't happen. I mean, shortages and overages are part of the job. But when you're constantly coming up short every time you work, probably something else going on other than just being short because of whatever, some other reason. So it takes a while for us to get a good crew together. And it may take months. Because what will happen is you hire somebody. This person comes in and you show them around, show them the job, they're like, great. And then the first time you say, all right, come with me, we're going to go clean bathrooms. And they go, bathrooms? You got to clean bathrooms? Yeah, that's part of the job. Oh, all right, now we're going to sweep them out the floors. You got to sweep them out the floors too? Yeah, that's part of the job. I mean, they don't mop themselves. Oh, 2 days later, you don't see them anymore. They just quit coming into work. And you get a couple of them, a couple, 3 of them, where, hey, cool, I'm not getting paid enough of that. Then you'll get 1 or 2 who come in and they're applying for a job as a cashier, which means waiting on people. So they come in and they go, clean bathrooms? Oh, I can do that, no problem. Oh, mop the floors? Yeah, I got it. Waiting on customers? Not so much. You get them up there, they wait on customers, and you start to notice something. You'll have some who, when they wait on customers, are just kind of dead. And what I mean by that is, hey, here you go. Yeah, you're welcome. If they even say that. But that's how they wait on customers. Not real people friendly. You'll get others who ended up like my boss did from earlier in my career, where he'd start grumbling, and then he would make comments, usually under his breath enough that the customer couldn't hear, but we could. Here you go, here's your change, you stupid so-and-so. Yeah, bye. Yeah, you fat so-and-so. You know, so we get one or two that may be like that, where they're not just kind of dead emotionally to the customer, you know, no inflection in their voice, nothing, but they'll make little comments under their breath, or they're rude, you know, just plain out rude to them. And eventually they realize, hey, I am not cut out to wait with people, to deal with customers. I'm not cut out for public service of any kind. Probably a good idea to get a job somewhere where I don't have to deal with the public. And I mean, I understand I've had my share of rude customers, so I can kind of understand that sometimes it gets too much. And you really do get frustrated with dealing with the public. Luckily, I can say, at least in my case, I try not to let that one customer who's extremely rude to me or aggravates me influence how I wait on other customers. So I try to be decent with every one of them. The ones that start acting rude to me, I get professional with them. So I try not to be rude, but I do get very, yes sir, thank you sir, here you go, have a good day, goodbye. And, you know, try to get them done out of my store. They start with every customer. It doesn't matter how nice the customer is, they're rude to them. So they usually don't last too long. And then you'll have the one or two who just want everything without paying for it. So you'll have those, and they'll get a sandwich. And you'll see them go out, get a sandwich out of the case, and eat it. You're gonna pay for that, right? Oh yeah. Okay. They'll get a pop out of the cooler. And don't forget the pop. Oh yeah. Well, 2 hours later, 3 hours later, when they leave, they're off their shift. You never did see them pay for that stuff. And in my position, I can actually go back and not only look at what was rang up to see exactly what got rung up, but I can also look at the cameras and I can look at the recordings. So I can go back and I can say, you know, that person never did, looks like that person never did ring anything up and get a receipt for it. Because in most of these kinds of jobs, when you're at work and you purchase something, you are to keep the receipt. If the regional manager comes in or somebody higher up comes in, you'd better be able to show that you paid for whatever you're eating that's from that store. So, good idea to have a receipt. And they'd never have a receipt. Oh, you paid for that, right? Oh, yeah, I paid for it like a couple hours ago when I first got it. Well, it's funny because I was standing here and I don't remember you paying me for it. Well, I rang it up when you went to the bathroom. I rang it up when you were out doing trash or whatever. Well, yeah, come to find out, most of the time, yeah, they're not paying for it, just like we suspected. So you'll get a couple of them. Of course, within a short while, all these people are gone. You'll get that one person who actually stays. They do the job, although not thrilled about it. So, yeah, I'll clean the bathrooms. They wait on people. Hey, how you doing? I mean, and they're usually not like real bad, but they're not outgoing. They're not, you know, interacting well with the customer. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, you had 10 in gas. All right, cool, thanks. You know, and that's it. But at least they stick around and they kind of do the job. And they're more a warm body filling in to make sure other people aren't pulling double shifts or working extra hours to get everything covered. They may last a while, But usually, eventually, within usually about 6 months or shorter, they will usually quit too, because they eventually get to the point where say, yeah, I don't like this job, I'm leaving. And then once you go through a few of them, you'll get that one person who does the job, does a good job, and while they may not like all aspects of the job, you know, I don't like cleaning bathrooms, but I do it because it needs to be done. I don't like going in that cooler because it's really cold. But I also realize that we can't be running out of pop, so I'm going to go stock the cooler because it needs to be done. But they do the job and they do it well. They wait on customers and they do it well. I had, about 6 months ago, I think it was, had a customer come in, and my usual self, doing my usual job, waited on them, got done, handed their change back, said, thank you, have a good day. And this customer stopped and she turned around and she looked at me for a minute. She says, you know, she goes, I think that's the first time in over a year I've actually had a cashier say thank you to me. Really? Yeah. I say thank you to all my customers. Even the ones that are kind of rude to me, I say thank you. That, I mean, maybe part of when I was growing up, you were supposed to be nice to people and say thank you and courteous. But I say thank you to all my customers. I said, well, you just keep stopping in here when I'm working and you'll hear thank you every time. Guess what? She comes in at least 3 times a week now. So I don't know if she comes in more than that when I'm not there, but I know when I'm there, she comes in at least 3 times a week now. And I always say thank you. And speaking of that, I am proud of myself. This job can harden people really quick. When you deal with the public on a daily basis, you realize that sometimes the public isn't so nice. And I'm not going to say everybody, you know, all customers do it on purpose. And I'm not all customers do things like this, but the ones that do, not all of them do it on purpose. But you get that one customer who's in a rush. So they kind of get rude when they have to wait. Or they try cutting in front of other customers. Now, they may truly be in a rush. Maybe they just got a call that somebody was in the hospital. Or, you know, they're late for work or whatever. So I can understand that not all of them are doing this on purpose. But you get those kind of customers. You get the ones who are just in a bad mood for whatever reason. Maybe the guy just broke up with his girlfriend. Or maybe the wife just found out her husband was cheating. And they're in a bad mood. Was it because of us? Maybe sometimes. I mean, I have told the story, I guess, of one of my coworkers who was rude to everybody he came across there. Never met a man he didn't hate. But, you know, they're in a bad mood. So they come in and the bad mood is now geared toward you because you're dealing with it. Well, that doesn't mean that they're always in a bad mood. They're always a bad person. And, you know, and you get others along those lines. You know, do it my way. I don't care what your rules and regulations say. You're going to do it the way I want you to. I'm going to use 2 hoses. No, you're not. Yeah, I'm going to use 2, and, you know, argue with you for 20 minutes that they're getting 2 hoses instead of 1, which they're supposed to have. You get, you know, others that, you've got to take my credit card. Well, no, my machine says no. Sorry. I'm not getting an authorization for it. I'm not taking your card. End of story. Well, you got to. It's good. I know it is. I've got $500 on it. That's quite possible, sir. And I'm sorry, but this says declined. I can't take it. So, you know, you get something like that. Okay. Once again, running up against that. God, I hate this short time limit. I might have to do something to actually expand my time, but I think you got to be on YouTube for like a certain amount of time to get extra time out of them. So, I guess there's going to be another part to this. Isn't that just awesome, man? This guy's talking about stupid stuff, and he just keeps going. And I told you I like to talk. I like to talk.